Hey everyone, I'm Rob, and it's Sunday today, so that means it's time to sit down and chat all things ChatGPT and generative AI and catch up with the news in the week. So, if you were looking at the news this week, you would have seen all things Apple because it was Apple's worldwide developer conference. In this conference, they unveil different things, like the new OS operating systems for their devices, blah, 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 blah. But the big thing this year that was talked about was the Apple Intelligence. And this is their rebranding of AI. Their AI is Apple Intelligence, and it is rolling out this year. So, what is Apple Intelligence? What is it all about? Well, essentially what they want to do is embed artificial intelligence into the iPhone and macOS operating systems. As we look down on the website, it shows, just basically it kind of just shows like the things that we've been using AI for, but now just on Apple devices. So for example, their Apple Intelligence, unveils new writing tools to help you, basically adjust the tone of what you're writing from professional to creative. We've seen this in Copilot. This is really nothing new at all. So we've actually seen these three options in Copilot. Turning images into something generative AI related. Also too in messages, generating, this person's mom into a superhero. So image generation, text to image. And then they unveiled Genmoji. So basically what Genmojis are is using generative AI for emojis. So now you can say, make me an emoji of a race car driver. So I think this is super fun. I think especially if you have children, this is going to be very fun. This is going to be like a new fun feature for your children. Give them the iPhone, walk away, come an hour later. So you can start to update some of the your photos. So put stickers on their faces. Again, I think this is nice thing if you have kids, and things like crop out certain people from images, or basically like image cleanup removal from photos, which is super handy, super great. So they are integrating ChatGPT 4OS into this to help kind of assist the tasks, the generative AI tasks across system wide. And the new thing that we actually talked about like 2 weeks ago was their new era of Siri. Thank gosh. Oh my gosh. So I don't know about you, if you, I imagine that you probably are an Apple user and you use Siri just to like set alarm clocks or whatever. But this actually is pretty interesting because now with the Apple Intelligence, it kind of looks across like all of your different apps and gets a lot of context. So what I mean about that is that they give a good example. So for example, if somebody messages you in messages saying like, oh my gosh, I think that you should watch this movie. If you open up the Apple TV app, then it would pop up with, saying like, oh, buddy, in your messages suggested that you watch this movie. That also goes with saying that if you have certain things like in your emails, which it kind of already does already, but emails, messages, blah, 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 that you have certain appointments, it will look across the different apps and then just, provide these prompts, which is great. Another thing as well is, for example, like, I don't know about you, but I have some times where like, indeed, like they say in this example where somebody shared a recipe and I'm like, where is Emma's recipe for this amazing soup? Well, you can ask Siri now, like, okay, Emma shared a recipe for soup. Can you help me find it? And then it should be able to look in the messages app and blah, 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 blah. So that's really cool, really great integration. Just of generative AI, really to kind of like just make life a little bit easier. Now, I think the big thing when we're talking about this is, actually, I feel like when we talk about this, you're like, and me too, the first impressions of this are like, okay, like that's neat, like whatever. It's not really anything groundbreaking, and it isn't really anything super groundbreaking, to be honest. But I think the big thing for many people that are interested in privacy, like myself, are that, they do tout this sort of, a privacy component for it. So the data is never actually stored on the cloud. A lot of the computing is on device, not in the cloud. And it's really, they say it's only used for your request, and they really kind of, they have this like private cloud compute, blah, 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 blah. And essentially they guarantee kind of a protection of your privacy. So that's really cool. I definitely have some skepticism, and that is going to come in some later news, but I digress. We will keep that for later. But yeah, they also too, if you watch the video, they did mention ChatGPT, and that's because ChatGPT will be integrated into the Siri and the writing tool. So if you have any sort of requests or things that you need to kind of look up, there is a option to look or define or whatnot with ChatGPT. They also say that if you pay for ChatGPT, that you should see some of the features that you pay for also integrated. So that's pretty cool. Now, my thoughts on this, I think this is, yeah, like I mentioned, I feel like it's not really anything like groundbreaking or new, and I feel like that's very much I feel like that's very much Apple's strategy. You know, it's like they wait 5 months, they offer the same features that a lot of other companies do, and then they put like a privacy sticker on it. So yeah, I don't know about you, but I feel like the features are kind of mundane, but they're in a way such that I feel like people are going to like. Yeah, it's so like nonchalant that it's actually a really good strategy that they've taken. Also, too, that they've rebranded AI, which I think a lot of people, when they think about AI, they still think about like Skynet. They think about losing their jobs. Like AI is becoming a loaded term. So the fact that they've rebranded it to Apple Intelligence, I think, is a really smart move. Now, where do I start to get a bit skeptical? Well, you know, I know that on-device computing takes a lot of compute power, and so that's why Apple Intelligence will only be available for, I believe, Mac M1, which is fine, but for iPhone users, it's only iPhone 15 Pro and above, and I think that's kind of like their planned obsolescence, you know, or engineered obsolescence, I should say. Like, it's kind of like, okay, that's fine. But the thing that I'm kind of like, and not like, you know, they guarantee the privacy, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. However, recently in the news, Apple was fined in South Korea for collecting users' data without their consent. Now, they don't fully disclose to the public why they were fined. There's no public information that AppleInsider.com can report on. As to why it needs like permission for like location tracking, like, you know, the fact that they're fined on this, I'm like, you know, like, But if we go into other news articles, you know, the fact that Apple is working with ChatGPT and OpenAI, like, because according to The Verge, the former head of the NSA is joining the OpenAI board. And I feel like from a privacy perspective, that should start to set some, like, I don't know, like danger Will Robinson sort of things. So OpenAI has appointed Paul Nakasone, a retired general for the U.S. Army and former head of the National Security Agency, to its board of directors. So that will join the Safety and Security Committee, and this was announced in May and is led by Sam Altman, basically what he is joining and what they're saying that Paul is joining for is to better contribute to OpenAI's better understanding of how AI can be used to strengthen cybersecurity by quickly detecting and responding to cybersecurity threats. That's a nice statement on its front, but I feel like when we start to look at people who have been very skeptical and have been the whistleblowers for the NSA, like Edward Snowden, he is saying now in a tweet posted on Twitter, they've gone full mask off. Do not ever trust OpenAI or its products, ChatGPT, etc. There's only one reason for appointing the NSA Gov director to your board. This is willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. You have been warned. So it's like, now, let's go a little bit further. So, Elon Musk has also entered the fray, and he's been quite critical of OpenAI and how they used to be very much for like pro-humanity, blah 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 blah. Then they fired all the the conscious, ethical AI people from their board. Went from a public non-for-profit to a private company. I digress. So Elon Musk had tweeted, "If Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. That is an unacceptable security violation. And visitors will have to check their Apple devices at the door while they will be stored in a Faraday cage. It is patently absurd that Apple isn't smart enough to make their own AI, yet is somehow capable of ensuring that OpenAI will protect your security and privacy. Apple has no clue what's actually going on. Once they hand over data to AI, they are selling you down the river." And here is a very funny image that I thought of how, Apple Intelligence works. So Apple, and then, your data is shared with OpenAI, which I have to say, the hiring of an NSA director, that kind of sends my spidey senses really starting to tingle now. So will I use Apple Intelligence? Well, I don't know. I'm kind of out on that one for now. This is very North American, but I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Anywho, I digress. Let's move on with some more news about OpenAI. Sorry, guys. I feel like this is like, I was like, yeah, OpenAI is amazing. And now, like, more and more, I'm kind of like, it's good to be skeptical of OpenAI and its intentions. Really, I think this started for me when they got rid of like Ilya Sutskever, Helen Trumper, and some of the people that really advocated for the safety and ethical components of AI. That's when I started to be like, wait a second. Anyways, enough about me. From the Financial Times, OpenAI is expanding its lobbying team to influence regulations. So they are beefing up their global affairs unit because, as we know, there are a lot of local legislation around the world that is now looking at AI. So you have, like, for example, in the European Union, the EU Act or the AI Act. They are onboarding some new people, and they have formed a global affairs department, and basically it's strategically positioned in locations where AI legislation is covered. This includes stationing staff in Belgium, the UK, Ireland, France, Singapore, India, Brazil, and the US. But this is the thing, I feel like, if they're growing as a company, I mean, Apple has this, basically all big tech has this. I mean, when it comes to like a competition sort of thing, like they would be silly not to. But this is kind of then what we see OpenAI as. If we see it as like a non-for-profit that or something in which we believe their message that they want to advocate and use artificial intelligence for the good of humanity, or if it is this great personality hire that is looking to make a big buck. Anyways, I'm getting off my soapbox now, and let's cover a few more things in the news before we sign off this week. So in some other exciting news, we see a challenger to OpenAI's Sora. That is the text-to-video model. So you can write in text and then it will generate a video. Well, there is a challenger now approaching called LumAI, and they look pretty promising, actually. So LumAI has been also has text-to-video models, and they have been demonstrating some of what people have been doing, which has been super neat. Like, come on, like, honestly, I feel like if I was in like video design, lighting, animation, etc., I would be a little bit nervous right now because some of this actually looks so good. I mean, we see now like this looks kind of, there's work to be done, let's say. I mean, but like it's still pretty impressive. This is creepy. But yeah, it's one of those things as well where I feel like a lot of people now just kind of want like sludge content. Like, I don't know about you, but like when I'm watching movies, the majority of the time I'm on my phone, like, or I'm like second screening, which is horrible to admit, but whatever, that's life. That's what I'm doing. So, sometimes I don't know, I just wonder like if animation, videos, etc., generated by AI will be passable enough for most audiences, because most audiences are probably like myself, where they're just like, boo, 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 boo. Anywho, the other interesting thing, so I'm not sure if you recall in the news, we didn't talk about it, but there was a ChatGPT voice option. I believe the name was Sky, and it sounded so eerily similar to Scarlett Johansson, and it was recently taken down. And OpenAI actually was just like, hey, look at our training data. We actually did not train it on Scarlett Johansson. It just sounds very much similar like her. They still took it down, and so we have some people in the industry saying, so Brian Lord, CEO of Creative Arts, said yesterday that OpenAI took the Sky voice down when asked because they are mid-deal with multiple studios over Sora use. So this is not, I don't think this is anything to be shocked about, but it is really interesting that this confirms that the text-to-video models are, being flirted around to different movie studios. So animators, etc., I would be, honestly, if I was like in lighting, animation, etc., I would be spending a couple weekends like learning about AI to augment your skill profile with AI, because I can really imagine that they will probably slim down, do some reorganizations, and keep those that have some AI skills. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Now, I think the last piece of news is, well, according to Reddit, that there is a paper that has come out that says that using AI models are discovering better algorithms to train LLM. So basically, like, AI is getting better at training AI, and I find this very fascinating. Anyways, I'll put a link in the description, so if you want to read that, you can. And really, it's like just dun 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 dun. We are on the path to artificial intelligence explosion. Honestly, when the AI can start to develop like singularity, where there is artificial consciousness, I want to be like, well, I'll be rich. We'll never have to work. Or we'll be harvested, like in the Matrix. This is really depressing, so I'm going to have some chocolate and finish the rest of my coffee. Anyways, in my life this week, things have been good. The Netherlands has been so cold. Holy shoot, it's like I had to sleep with the window closed. It's really cold here, but things are still moving on. And I'm figuring out when is the best time to go to Canada. So yeah, things are good. Things are good in my life, and I hope that things are well in your life as well. So with that being said, I will see you in the next news video update, and wishing everyone a wonderful rest of their Sunday and fabulous week ahead. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.